This is the S to the K to the double E to the T to the E to the R. And I'm sitting here with the G to the Q, and I'm sitting here next to Senator Lee Harris. And we in the house today, and we are fired up. Hello, somebody!
Hello, somebody! You have to say, you have to scream.
You got to scream, Senator.
Wow.
Do like you're in court. In court, you can't handle the truth.
You're on the Unleashed Voice. Ready to go.
The Unleashed Voice. All right, well, I'm real excited to be here today. And now I'm a little nervous, too. So, thank you for having me.
Hello, Radio Land. And this is the Unleashed Voice for the LGBTQ Community radio show here on AM 990 KWAM. And you know what time it is. It's Saturday. It's the 5 o'clock hour. And the mission of our radio show is to be the premier soundboard for the LGBTQ community in the Mid-South. We employ 3 E-Core principles of education, empowerment, and enrichment. The purpose of our show is to celebrate, affirm, and uplift the LGBTQ community above marginalized standards. We also hope that during the broadcast of our show that you will learn something that will cause you to ask more relevant questions in the world around you. Now we're going to jump into our segment of What's on Your Mind. What's on your mind, son?
Let's talk about the great state of Texas. The great Governor Greg Abbey. He has started a petition to give direct orders to persons who work in the state of Texas to deny the couples their right to marry. He told the state workers that they can follow their religious beliefs, and they could deny couples from receiving their marriage license in the state of Texas.
I thought that I saw a judge just issue an order to a clerk. I'm not sure what state that she had to issue those licenses.
Well, the judge probably did. The Supreme Court ruled that nationwide that you're supposed to issue marriage license, but the governor of Texas told his workers that they could deny people their marriage license based on their religious beliefs and religious convictions.
Well, you know, as public servants, I don't think that has a place in the workplace. And also, I remember in the 1960s, they did the same thing in Arkansas. They said they didn't have to go segregate schools and go to school interracial and all of that. So it's not a big issue. I think it's just a ploy and a last desperate effort. You want to chime in on this, Senator?
Sure. No, it sounds like a last-ditch effort. Sounds like desperation. I think that there are folks around the country who think that there will be some disaster if we go full on for marriage equality. And the Supreme Court already ruled that there's going to be marriage equality, and we haven't seen any disaster yet. And so a lot of this huffing and puffing is all for nothing. So I mean, and it may also be to generate a headline. You know, sometimes these politicians, me being a politician, I'll admit it, sometimes these politicians just want to generate a headline. And so, you know, he's appealing to the most extreme elements of his base, some of the extreme conservatives out there, and some of those folks, you know, just really holding on to the past, and they don't want to see equality.
It's always in the South.
That's right.
The truth changes, Senator.
Well, we've seen a little bit of that in Tennessee, but I don't think it's going to go anywhere. So there is a couple of efforts. One is the Pastor Protection Act we've seen in Tennessee. We've got a rep, Andy Holt from West Tennessee, from Dresden, who proposes pastor protection in light of marriage equality. And basically what he says is that we got to have some increased protections now for these pastors, because otherwise they will be called to do something that violates their faith. And so there's nothing in what the Supreme Court said. I read the ruling. It's been a long time now, but I did read the ruling when it came out. And there's nothing in that ruling that is going to impact or coerce pastors to violate their faith. But yet we'll see efforts to do that kind of stuff. Again, it's just kind of a last-ditch effort, and some of it is just to generate headlines. We also saw, and this is certainly an effort to generate headline. We had a rep, I think his name is Rick Womack, and I don't know where he's from, but
well, he's from a small county in Tennessee. I know him well.
Yeah, so he said he was gonna. What did he say?
Burn himself, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Texas. He's from Texas.
Well, the one I'm talking
from Tennessee.
Well, there's another one. There's actually a group of these efforts to generate headlines and see if we can go back to, you know, some past error. But what his effort was, he said he wanted to impeach Governor Haslam. Because Governor Haslam, of course, had said, well, the Supreme Court has ruled and I'm going to follow the law.
Yeah.
And so he misunderstands what impeachment means. You impeach somebody for not following the law, for actually being a criminal. And he said, I want to, and this is actually a state representative, somebody who's actually elected, an elected official, who wrote a letter to some clerks in Tennessee and met with a lot of the press and said he's going to tell the clerks that you know, they shouldn't do this, and moreover, Governor Haslam should be impeached because Governor Haslam has the audacity to do what is lawful and what has been ordered by the U.S. Supreme Court. And so you see these kind of things, and like I say, it's some effort to preserve something, and I don't know what that is, but you know, clearly the Supreme Court has ruled that marriage equality did not spell disaster for the country, and everything is perfectly fine. Equality, anti-discrimination, those things, tolerance, inclusion, those things have done nothing but move us on the path forward.
Absolutely.
I think the fear is, you know, these people are so used to pushing certain groups to the edge.
That's right.
Now all of a sudden the edge is now moving and becoming the center. Mm-hmm. And they're shifting these people to the edge. So that was what happens, and what we're seeing is evidence of when the edge becomes the center. And it's just crazy because I love this saying that no movement, no social movement has ever come about because the majority wanted to give up their position. It always comes from the minority or people being oppressed and saying that I've had enough and I'm going to stand up now. So we're seeing, and I tell my son this all the time, we're living in a movement right now. We're going to look back, you know, maybe 20 years from now and remember that we lived through this and that we were a part of it. You know, you too, Senator Harris, you were integral in the ordinance in the city of Memphis. And we lived through some change in our community. No,
I think that's right. I mean, the state of Tennessee is a conservative state, you know, at least in terms of our governor's Republican, our 2 senators are Republican, and so forth. But I always say that in the state of Tennessee, just like everywhere in America, you know, we may not be in charge right now, but we will be soon enough.
Amen.
Because the country is changing, and, you know, I'm 37 this month, and I like to think of myself, I'm not very young anymore, but I'm still kind of young, and I like to say to my Republican colleagues, I say, I may not beat you because they have the numbers, but I will outlast you.
I know this. I know that's right. And matter of fact, no matter your political or your beliefs, we all have to stand up for treating people equal under the law.
That's right.
We can't pick and choose what law that we want to use to our advantage to discriminate and oppress other people. But you're absolutely right, Senator Harris. We will outlive all of those mean individuals. Well, introduce yourself. You have a minute before our first break, Senator Harris, and we're going to let you introduce yourself.
Sure.
And then we'll jump into this after our break.
So I'm Lee Harris. I'm the state Senate, and I am also the Senate Minority Leader, so I'm the leader of the Democrats on the Senate side. And I have won my office in 2014. I replaced Ophelia Ford. So Ophelia Ford was an incumbent. She'd been there for 8 years, and I replaced her. And I represent what I like to call the core of the city of Memphis. So I represent the original neighborhoods. I represent Whitehaven, South Memphis, Midtown, downtown. I represent small parts of North Memphis and a very small part of Frazier. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you're from one of these core communities, then I'm your representative. And my district more or less ends at East Parkway. And so, you know, I am very much in the center of the city of Memphis, and I've been in office, like I say, since 2014.
That's great. I love it.
And I should also mention, before state senate, I was in the city council. Yeah. On the city council, I represented North Memphis and Frazier. Mm-hmm. And I was on the city council for 3 years, and of course, we fought and struggled for the anti-discrimination ordinance. And I recall your participation and your efforts in that struggle, and we were able to get that done, I think, in 2012 or 2013. So yes, I've sponsored that anti-discrimination ordinance, and we continue to fight because equality, you know, we've seen it before. We've seen it in the civil rights era. You know, equality is important, and we understand that folks are a little bit tentative around folks that are different from them. But either way, we've got to continue to struggle, and we'll make sure that folks are treated fairly.
Absolutely. And so when you become mayor or president, you be your VP, because you're 37, I'm 35, I can be, you know, I help you out.
That's a deal.
There we go. There we go.
You give me the presidency, I'll give you the vice presidency.
That's what I'm talking about.
Can we say that on there? Is that legal?
You got it, Senator. You got it. Well, we have Senator Lee Harris in the house. We're going to take our first pause for the calls, and we'll be right back to jump in this great conversation with the senator himself, Senator Lee Harris.
If you want to get in, give us a call, 260-5926. This is the Unleashed Voice for the LGBTQ community. Don't change that dial. We'll be right back.
Are you clear?